Hey y'all, I got a turmeric treatment on my face, but I want to talk about the time I almost got snatched up. It's gonna be a long story time, honestly. So this is back like a year ago and some change. I was I was going through my whole phase. Like this is around the time, and this story time, it's like this is the story how I woke up my third eye, how I became spiritual. Like the universe just smacked me awake. Like honestly, like whenever I hear like, oh, near death experiences make you wake up, it ain't a lie, because I woke up very abruptly. But yeah, this is around my whole phase, and I had this one friend at the time. I'm gonna just call her Kay, I guess. So Kay and I, right? So this is like Thursday. She's talking about meeting up with this guy that she met on Bumble on Saturday. And I was like, oh, Saturday? I'm supposed to go to the beach with my family. And I'm like, okay, we can just go to the beach so we can meet my family there, because I'm already supposed to go to the beach on Saturday anyway. So let's just go on Saturday. Okay, boom. But she's talking about the guy. I see pictures of him. I'm like, okay. And she's saying like, yeah, he's gonna buy us food. He's gonna get us Mary Jane. Like, it's gonna be chill. Like, and I'm like, okay, cool. But in my head, I heard like, this is very dangerous. This is not a good idea. But if she goes alone, she's gonna get unalived. Like, legit. That's what I heard. And I'm like, damn. But I'm like, okay, but if I go with her, she's not gonna get unalived. But I'm gonna put myself at risk. But if I let her go alone, she's going, like, nothing could convince me if she went alone she was gonna be all right. No, she was gonna get unalived. So I'm like, damn, okay. Okay, so boom, Saturday comes. Um, Kay gets there with the guy. The guy like picks us up, not in front of my house, obviously, but we get there. We start driving, and then when we start driving, at first, like, mind you, he lives like an hour away from us. I didn't know that. I wish I got the memo, but anywho, she lived an hour away from us, and yeah, he lived an hour away from us, and then he had to go to get his hair cut for some reason. I'm like, okay, so we go to his barbershop, and the barbershop was even 40 minutes away from the beach. We were just getting further and further away from people I knew, and I'm like, okay, this is getting a little weird now. Okay, boom. He gets his hair. We're sitting in the car for like an hour. Okay, he comes back in the car, and I'm like, okay. Now we pull up to his house. I'm like, why are we going to this man's house? I'm like, this is a little weird. But in my head, I was thinking, like, he could literally, like, kidnap us and nobody would know. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, people got my location. But it's like, they're not going to check it like that. I was like, I could really get snatched up. Get there at his crib. But I'm, like, thinking, like, yo, my family's already at the beach. Like, we got to go. Like, come on now. So he went upstairs to his crib. Oh, mind you, when we in the car, when we pull up, we see a car under like a blanket, like a drape to protect the car. And he was I guess he noticed that we looked at the car like, what is that? And he was like, oh, that's my roommate's car. None of us said anything, but he like felt like he had to say something. And I'm like, oh, what's your roommate like? Because I'm just asking questions. He was like, oh, she ain't here right now, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Okay, we get to the house, right? He makes us sit in the front area. In the front area is a mini bar. And I'm looking, I'm over examining everything. While we sitting there, he's upstairs taking a shower. I'm like, okay. I'm examining the place. It looks like he's the only one living there. I'm thinking in my head, like, something told me in my head he doesn't have a roommate. I'm like, oh. Then I'm like looking, like the bar. I've been in houses that have a bar, and it looks like people would interact in that bar. Like that bar looks like people used it, you know. But I was looking at the bar. You see cobwebs, spider webs everywhere. I'm like, if people come over like that, if he actually had a roommate, wouldn't they use it? Like, everything looks like not touched. Okay, boom, I'm walking around. I look at the living room. There's no TV. I'm like, I think he lives alone. And I'm like looking at her like, bro, we can literally get snatched up right now. She's like, oh, you tripping. It's not even that big of a deal. And I'm like, dope, dude, like, dead ass. Like, we can literally get snatched up right now. We at his crib. Did you tell anybody we're here? She's like, no. I'm like, I didn't tell anybody I'm here. I'm like, man, I got my location. I dropped my location to my friend also because I'm like, yo, this is weird. Like, but I keep brushing it off. She keeps like, not gaslighting me, but she was kind of like, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm like, okay, fine. I guess I'm tripping. We leave. He gets all the things for the beach. We start driving to the beach. But before we get to the beach, we got Wendy's because we are hungry. And we went to this shop to get edibles. I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, he's paying for everything, right? So I waited until we got to the beach to eat the edibles, right? And like, mind you, the whole time I would have this feeling like a gut feeling like something ain't right, bro. Like something ain't right. But I keep on brushing it off. And mind you, when we driving there, like Kay was sitting in the front with him. And then he would like brush on Kay. Like if he had the opportunity to touch her, he would. And then she started getting uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie, that man was hard to look at. He really was. Like, he creeped me out. But anywho, I'm getting there and I'm like, this is not right. Something's off. I get to the beach. I kid you not. The moment I get on the beach, I see my family packing up to leave. Every fiber in my body was telling me, go with your family. Go with your family. Go with your family. I didn't want to listen. Go with your family. Go with your family. Nothing, like, I didn't listen. I see my family packing up. I say, hey. My dad, he sees like me and Kay, and then the guy, and he's like trying to ask questions, but like my mom's kind of like, oh, they're just hanging out, I guess. Like, I don't know, nobody wants to think about things going south. So as humans, instead of us actually seeing things for how it is, a lot of times we question our intuition. We question that gut feeling, but that gut feeling is there. Your ego is there to help you. Your intuition is there to help you. Like, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't let your ego like control everything in you, but that's your dark side. Your dark side is here to protect you from things. If you didn't have a dark side, you wouldn't have a light side. That's just how it is. Like, don't destroy or like unalive your ego. No, transform it. Learn how to use it. Learn how to work with your ego, not against it, because it's here. It's supposed to be here and it's supposed to help you. But anywho, kept brushing it off, right? My family leaves. I get this deep feeling of sadness, like, oh, I fucked up. Like, I never felt that. Like, I was like, I should have went with them. Like, everything in my body's like, oh no. Like, I start getting panic. So boom, we start eating the Wendy's. Oh, I already ate the Wendy's in the car while we were driving there, but I start eating the edible. I eat the edible. I only eat it like a little bit. I only eat half, and I give her the other half. I'm like, okay, cool. And before y'all go in the comments, I'm aware that this was a horrible decision. I'm aware that this was very dangerous of me, and I would never do something like that. But I am aware if this didn't happen, I probably wouldn't be awake right now. But anywho, I get there, and I'm like, Now he put the blanket on the sand. We chilling, eating the edible. And now I realize he's starting to get more touchy as before. And now he started like rubbing on me and stuff. And I'm like, nigga, like, it's just like, and I'm like, And then, what does it say? Yeah, but I only took a little bit, right? And then I started taking a little bit more, just a tiny little nibble more. But he kept on like persuading us to take more. And I'm like, something's up. Like, something's up. Like, something's up. I'm like, this ain't right. This is not normal at all. And then like he would try to make Kay take more, and then Kay was like down to take more. I'm like, she don't need more. Like, I was like, we don't need any more, we're good. Like, basically like standing on, no, I think we high enough. But mind you, I was high as a kite, man. Like, I was like, damn. And then like he gets up, because we were making TikToks and we were dancing, but while we were dancing, he kept on looking at us like, I put two together, like, bro, I go somewhere with this complete stranger, I make him pay for everything. And I'm thinking to myself, he's not expecting something in return. Be for real. But anywho, we start dancing, having TikToks, we're having a great time, we're sitting down. Then he gets up to make a phone call. The moment he gets up to make a phone call, I'm editing the TikTok and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, we could literally get snatched up and get unalived somewhere and nobody would know. And I said that to Kate. She's like, bro, stop playing. It's just the edible talking. I'm like, no. I'm like, dude, we can literally get snatched up right now. Bro, I kid you not. I said this 4 times. She was not getting it until I grabbed her face. I'm like explaining. I'm like, we're 40 to an hour away from our cribs. Nobody that we know is here. We're by ourselves. And we're high as a kite. Both of us are. We can literally get snatched up and put in a body bag. Nobody would know. That's when she was like, wait a minute, you right. Okay, so she calls her friend, like asking him, like, what should we do? And he's like, I've never been in that situation before. I don't know. And I'm like explaining to him, like, this is what we do. He's like, I don't know. I've never been through it. I'm like, this is a waste of time. So I was like, you know what? She was like, you know what? Kay was like, let me just go up to him. Oh, mind you, while I'm talking about this, I like face away so he doesn't see what I'm like. He doesn't read my lips, you know? So I'm like, I'm looking at him, right? But I would realize like he would look at us, like he would be on the phone, he would be looking at us and on the phone. It kind of looks like he's talking about us on the phone. So in my head, I hear he's setting you up. I'm like, oh, word, we gotta go. So Kay was like, you know what? Let me just tell him we gotta go to the bathroom, right? I'm like, okay, you do it, because right now I'm too lit. I can't do it. She's real good at persuading. So she did that. She was like, yeah, we just gotta go freshen up in the bathroom. Basically, like, try to flirt with him and make it reassuring that we're gonna come back. No, we power walked to that bathroom, bro. We were sitting in that stall. Mind you, my heart was pounding, bro. My heart was pounding hard as hell. I'm walking to the bathroom. I'm like, at the time I was Christian. I was like, you know what? Well, yeah, this was on a Saturday. I'm like, you know what? I started praying. I was on the floor praying with her. She's not religious at all. Like, she would make jokes like, oh, if I walked into a church, I would like get caught up in flames. Like, I would just blow up in flames. I'm like, okay. But anywho, I started praying. That was like one of the hardest times I prayed. Like, I prayed hard as hell that day. And then after that, I get a little bit sense of calmness after that, right? And then the whole time I was so high, I would hear banging, right? At the time in my head, I thought he was banging on the door. So I started panicking even more, bro. And I'm like, damn, like, what are we gonna do? So I'm thinking we cornered. But by the time we left, I realized it was just people that left the bathrooms. The door would like swing shut and it made a loud bang. But at the time, I was tripping. I was getting super scared. I was paranoid. And then I was like, I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, blah, blah. And then I remember this TikTok. There was this TikTok that said, if you're somewhere and you need help, go to a mother. Just go to any mother. I'm like, word. I kid you not. When we left the bathroom, the first lady in line, she was heading to the stall that we left. Immediately, I was like, we need your help. Like, we need your help, bro. Okay, we get there. She was like, stay in the stall with me. Okay, I turn around because I'm like, she's using the bathroom. Her and her kid is using the bathroom. I explain everything she's explaining. And then she was like, you can't be doing that. Like, if it was my child, I would beat their ass. And then she looks at her kids like, you see how stupid these 2 girls are? If I find out you do anything stupid like that, I'm beating your ass. And I'm like, she was like, no offense. I'm like, it's not taken. I get it. This was a stupid decision. But she helped us, though. And then she was like, oh, is he calling you? Like, the guy had Kay's number. And he was calling Kay, but the lady said, don't answer his phone calls. Let me handle it. We couldn't hear what he was saying. And I'm so glad she didn't let us hear. Like, honestly, that was really nice of her. Because she didn't have to do that, but she did. And it was very kind of her. Like, he would answer the phone. We can't hear a word that he's saying, but we hear him talking loudly. Like, we hear that he's like screaming and stuff. And I'm like, oh shoot, like, what are we gonna do now? But she pretended like she was her mom. Like Like, yeah, like she was like, the lady was on the phone with him, like, yeah, this is her mom. I picked her up, yada yada yada. Like, she doesn't want you, blah blah blah. We're good. She's cool on you. He didn't like that. He was like yelling and stuff like that. But I couldn't hear what he was saying. But I heard him loudly, and he was not on speaker, so he's yelling. Okay, boom. So I left the stall. This lady complimented me on my septum. I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. Like on my septum ring. And then, mind you, by this time we're even higher than before. Like, so I was thinking in my head, like, yo, if I stayed with that dude, like, I would not be here. Like, I could barely even talk. Like, I got cotton mouth. It was horrible, bro. Like, it was horrible, and I couldn't make the best decisions. Like, I really, now I look back at it, I set myself up. Like, there's nobody to blame but myself. But it is what it is. That's a different story. But I was there and I'm like, what are we supposed to do? She's like, do you have anybody to call that can pick you up? Kay was like, yeah, my dad's at a bar like 10 minutes away. I'm like, okay, bet. But in my head, I knew he was not going to help for real. Like, Kay used to talk about his dad. Like, Kay used to talk about her dad. And I would be like, I don't, he is not really like there for real, for real. Like, don't get me wrong, like he'll be there if you need. I guess he'll be there to her when she needs him, but she lives with her grandparents because something happened between like the parents and stuff. But it's like, okay, she called, it's like 4 times. She called her dad 4 times. Like, can you pick us up? He's still just chilling in the bar, like, and I'm like, damn, we're cooked. And then I was like, oh, my friend. I had a friend at the time. I called her and no, yeah, I called her and I was like crying because I'm like tripping. I'm like, yo, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. Here's my location. I'll explain everything that's going on, but can you please, like, life or death, can you please pick me up? She's like, I'm on my way. Excuse me, mind you, this is like, yeah, the beach was like almost an hour away. Like, I remember that day she told me she was damn, it went all the way on my, anywho, I remember that day she was telling me she had something to do with like her friend. So she was already irritated that she gotta leave. Who was she doing with her friend? And then come pick me up. Whatever. I get there. So the lady that helped us, right? The mom, she left for a second and then her mother came out and was talking to me. But in the meantime, I saw that she had her husband in the car and her husband start arguing because I guess he wanted to leave and he was screaming at her. I'm like, damn, like, it was bad. And I was thinking in my head, this lady decided to take time out of her day, argue with her husband just to help us. Like, that experience, that experience was literally like heaven sent. Like, not heaven sent, but it's like, it was just crazy. Like, my head can't like comprehend what's going on. And then, okay, boom. So she was like, okay, I have to go. I have no choice. I gotta go. But just make sure you stay here or you stay somewhere safe to your somebody can pick you up. And we're like, okay, thank you. Thanks for helping. Okay. And so we walk to we start walking somewhere so we can like, yeah, like Kay's dad told her, oh, meet me at that part of the beach so I can pick you up. Okay, boom. So we start walking there. We started walking there. I kid you not. The line for the cars to leave the beach, we saw his car. His car is not hard to notice. Like, it was a different color. It was not like a common car at all. So I was like, yo, I started running the opposite way. Obviously, like, booked it. I booked it. And I was holding her hand, so she had to run too. And then this lady and this man, they were sitting on the bench on the way we were running to. And they were like, what's going on? What's happening? And then I was like, we just, something's happening. We just need to get walked to this place safely. Somebody's following us. Like, we need help. Like, we need help. And then the lady was like, okay, my son can walk you to the bar right there. Okay, he walks us to the bar. Boom. We get into the bar. That bar was packed like sardines. I never seen a bar that packed a day in my life. But it was like a bar type of like restaurant. So we start sitting there and I'm like thinking in my head like, yo, and I ask her, where's your dad? Like, he said he was coming here. We like, bro, come on. Okay, so we start sitting there. Her phone starts dying. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, things were working for us, but I was still like scared because I'm like, this, we just saw him. Like, what's going on? Like, but We get there, the waitress is like asking us like, are we okay? And I'm like, not really, we just need to sit here, we're not trying to order anything. She was like, I can call the police. I'm like, please don't. I'm like, we're good, like we can just chill here. She started getting irritated because she wanted to help, but it's like the help that she wanted to give was not the help we needed. So she got irritated and left. Okay, boom. But it's like, it was crazy because every single person that helped us that day helped us. Every single interaction we made with another person, they helped. I cannot explain it. I had a sense of familiarity with every person that interacted with me that day. Like after like the whole situation. Like every person that helped us, I felt like I knew them. But I never seen them any day of my life. I never seen them before. Like in my head, I'm like, these are angels, bro. I'm like, this is more than God. Like this is because like in Christianity they just be saying like Jesus and stuff, like angels and blah blah blah, but it felt deeper than that. Like I don't know how to explain, I didn't know how to explain it at the time, but looking back it was definitely like angels, spirit guides, ancestors that were helping me, but I didn't know at the time, I wasn't spiritual. But anywho, her dad picks us up, right? And he finally picks us up, but it was a whole situation. I don't want to air out her business if she sees this video, but get there and he's not driving us back to the crib. So I'm like, it's a good thing I asked my friend to come. So he just picked us up and then parked somewhere else so I can wait for my friend to pick us up. So a few minutes roll by. My friend, I'm telling her where we're at. Like I dropped location. It was hard because it was like this random place. Finally, she picks us up. I start breaking down and crying in the car. I try to explain, but I was crying too hard. I couldn't make words. I was just like, bro, I'm so glad you're here, bro. Like, I almost died, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm never doing something stupid like this before. And mind you, before that experience, I would hear people say, yeah, when I was a teenager, I did the worst, dumbest decisions. And I would look at people that couldn't be me. It was me. So it's like, the moment I realized, the moment you think it couldn't be you, God is going to show you it really can. Like, I feel like God humbled me in that situation, but it humbled me for the better. Because it really woke me up. Because I realized, I saw this one video saying like, God put you at your lowest state so you can listen. And I'm like, yo, that's so true. Because it's like, whenever I'm in my lowest state, I do nothing but listen. Like, when you're at your lowest state, you got no other way. You got no other choice but to go to God, but to listen to God. Because you at your lowest state. So that was my lowest. And God was basically like, God basically shook my world and made me almost like get unalived so I can wake up and actually come to my senses, because I was not making the best decisions leading up to that time. So I get there, my friend's driving us back, I'm cooling, I'm like, cool. I look in the rear view mirror and I see like Kay in the back sleeping. I'm like, wait, we just got lit and we're still lit off of edibles. She gonna green out. But I did it again. I just brushed it off. I'm like, nah, she gonna be all right. We for like 5 minutes away from her crib. I see she wakes up, but I'm like, what is she doing in the back? My friend that's driving at the time, she was like, she's throwing up. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, pull over real quick. I pulled over. I made Kay sit on the grass laying down because she was choking a little bit. But at the time, I was so lit, I was not paying mind to like what I needed to do. I literally sacrificed my like my shawl. You know those like wraps that people put over themselves at the beach? I used that, and I used my towel to clean up all the chunks of the throw up. It was bad, bro. Like, it was really bad. And I'm like, okay, let's drop her off. I see like the friend that picked us up, like she's irritated, she mad at this point. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, let's just go to Walmart so I can buy the cleaning supplies so I can clean your car. Okay, so boom, we go to Walmart. I bought the supplies. We're just chilling there, and she was like, okay, start cleaning it. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, start cleaning the car. I'm like, we're about to go to your house. Why do you want me to start cleaning your car in the Walmart parking lot? It's like, just clean it. And when she's telling me to clean it, she started catching attitude, like, just clean it right now. Clean it right now. I'm like, first of all, why? And second of all, we need to go to your house. She was like, why? I'm like, we need a hose. I can't clean anything without water. She was like, oh, you're right, we need a hose. But in my head, I was thinking, I'm like, if we didn't even need a hose, if we didn't need to go to your crib, why did you want me to clean it in the parking lot right there? Did you want to embarrass me or something like that? Like, were you trying to make a statement? Like, what's going on? Anywho, we get there, right? And I start cleaning. I made sure it was squeaky clean. I bought her like those plug-in things you could put in the car so the smell can at least go away. I got like a brush, I got a bucket, I got water, I got soap, I got all that. I cleaned that car. I cleaned it so well that I even offered to go and to the gas station and get it vacuumed, bro. Like, I cleaned it. And then after that, like, she dropped me home. But I was just like looking at the wall, and I'm like, this is more than God. What just happened was like more than what religion makes it seem like it is. More than God. I'm like, what is life? Like, it was just crazy. Then I just hopped on TikTok. I'm scrolling. Then I come across this video talking about Kemetic spirituality. I'm like, what is Kemetic spirituality? And then I dive deep in that, and I'm like, I resonate with this. And then literally that day, I told myself, you know what? I'm gonna drop Christianity, but I'm gonna see how it is. Cause like the next day I had to go to church because it was Saturday. Okay, so boom, I go to church. Yo, the ceremony, like the guest speaker that I talked to that day, he was talking some bullshit, bro. He was talking about some, oh, you gotta wait until marriage and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how does this have to do with the service? Like, he was like talking about Judah and stuff. But I'm like, what does Judah gotta do with purity rings and like being a virgin till marriage? I'm like, what does this have to do? He was just talking some bullshit. I'm like, this is not real. And I'm pretty sure that time in church was when the pastor, like the church raised over $1 million for the church, like from the tithe and stuff like that. I kid you not. The pastor was literally like, we need 100,000 more grand. Click this link or do this VR code, this code to donate and do your tithing. Everybody was silent, and I started laughing silently. I'm like, this is not real. Like, this feels like an episode of Atlanta or something. Like, this is so unreal. And I started laughing. I'm like, this is a joke. This is not real. So after that, okay, we leave church, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not Christian anymore. Like, I'm not a Christian anymore. We went to this place. We ate some pho. It was a bistro place. And that was the last time I ever ate beef. And I'm like, yeah, that Sunday, I stopped being Christian. I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating any dairy products or any animal products. I became a vegan. And I wasn't an atheist, but I was like, yeah, I'm spiritual now. Like, I was following Kemetic spirituality. Like, I started my spiritual journey, my third eye. Like, everything I ate, I cooked it. I didn't even eat fast food. Like, I was serious about it. Now I'm a vegetarian and stuff like that. But I say this story. Oh, let me insert the video of what I saw when my friend was driving me back. I feel like it felt like a movie, bro. Wow. You're such a smart girl. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. But I'm glad I experienced that. And I wanted to share that story because I want to share, like, everything in life happens for you. Even if you go through something and it scares you, it terrifies you, it's here to help you. It's here to actually make you a better person and actually to grow you. It's supposed to change, like, it's supposed to help you. Everything in this lifetime is supposed to help you because life happens for you, not to you. You got to keep reminding yourself that, because it's so easy to be like, oh, why this happened to me? Why me? Why me? Why not you? You came into this planet. You pick this life. You pick this family. You pick all the situations you're going to go through. You pick who you want it to be. You chose this. You chose this. Your higher self wouldn't put you here. They wouldn't put you here knowing you're not capable of doing it. Stay close to your higher self, because we are gods and goddesses, whether we like to admit it or not. Especially Black people. We are. Like, God is within us. We're literally the universe experiencing ourselves. We're literally God experiencing itself. Like, so whenever you feel like you're not at the place in life that you're not needed to be, or you feel like you don't deserve this, just be patient, because what you talk about, what you put your energy to, is who you become. Stay in gratitude. Life is beautiful. Even through all the trials and tribulations, life is beautiful. But yeah, I'm glad I experienced it, because it helped me woke up, and it made me appreciate my family even more, maybe appreciate my life even more. Like, literally, and I became celibate that day. No, I forgot to mention that. Like, I feel like God, my higher self, didn't like the path I was going to. Like, I was working at McDonald's like a few months before that. I was going through a whole phase. My diet was horrible. I would look in the mirror and not recognize who I was. Like, not in a good way, but in a bad way. Like, it was bad. And that was a wake up moment for me, for sure. Like, the universe, my higher self, God, literally woke me up, like, get the fuck up. Like, basically. Like, damn. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. This video is already like 30 minutes. So yeah, thanks for having time with Tati. Stay beautiful, stay woke, stay peaceful, and stay resilient, reflection. Thank you. I'm out.